Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Santa Anita Park here on opening day. It is Saturday, the 28th of December, 2019. Gonna look at all the stakes races on the program from Santa Anita, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and they're meeting around the world. And also go check out my Gulfstream video for today. Excellent card at Gulfstream. Hopefully, if the rain doesn't show up. But let's look at the stakes action from Santa Anita. We have 7 stakes races with the cancellation earlier this week. We're going to look at races 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I hope you got that, because I'm not going to say it again. Let's get to the second race from Santa Anita, which is the Lady Shamrock Stakes per $75,000 race for 3-year-old fillies here. We have a field of 8 horses going to the turf course, a distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the turf course. 1,600 meters, 1 mile turf course. Show the diagram, just gives me a little extra second to look down my notes, just bear with me. Top selection, I'm going to take the 3 horse Bohedkita, I think that's how you say it. The trio filly by showcasing Richard Baltus Strange. Rafael Bejarano gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 20th of October at Santa Anita, 1 mile in the main, special weight 50,000. And it took the horse 10 starts to break the main, but she finally did it in a quite impressive fashion, winning by 2 1/4 lengths there. She sat back early in a small group of horses. She got the lead, then she took off clear. A very good run. Keep in mind, the second place finisher did win next start out. Before that, main special weight for 63 at Del Mar, 1 mile August 18th. She was drawn in the parking lot, which cost her, but she still ran a terrific race. She finished 4th by a half length. She closed up well after a horrible trip. I thought that was a very good effort. And then her North America debut came on the 20th of July at Del Mar, mile 16th, main special weight 62. She finished 7th by 5.5 lengths there. Again, she had a wide post draw. She didn't break well, and I think she had a horrible trip, and she probably needed the race for experience. Her races in Europe or in Ireland weren't half bad, but since coming to America, she's been getting better with every single race. First time stakes quality horses shouldn't be a problem, and I think she's sitting on a very good run. Go back to the horses she was running against in Europe. She actually, placed behind Hermosa, and who was a very good horse. Actually went on to win quite a few Group 1s this past year in the UK. Also, Pink Dogwood's a good horse who she lost to. Isotope, decent horse. And Just Wonderful. She's getting beat by these tougher horses in Ireland. That was last season as a 2-year-old, but coming here, as a 3-year-old, she's drawn well. Her running style fits this turf course at 8-1. Let's give her a shot in this very wide open race. So to recap my selection for the second from Santa Anita, it's the Lady of Shamrock. Gonna go with the 3 horse Bohedkita. I'm gonna go 3-1-6-4 in the superfecta. Now let's get to race number 5 from the Great Race. Race number 5 from Santa Anita, it is the San Antonio Stakes. It's a Grade 2 event going for a purse of $200,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 7 horses going to the main track, the distance of ground of 1,700 meters, or the 1 mile and 1/16th trip on the main track. 1,700 meters, a mile 1/16th main track. And they did, during the 8-week break from Santa Anita to Del Mar to Los Al, they refurbed the main track a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit quicker than it was during the last meeting, which it was basically it was slow as molasses. So hopefully it's quickening up, and hopefully it's going to be kind to other kinds of running styles, not to speed, which it was, and no horses were gaining ground. But with that being said, very good San Antonio, kind of local prep race for the Pegasus race, kind of local prep race for the Santa Anita Handicap Stroop Series, whatever they call that series now, or not the Stroop Series. That started with Malibu, which they don't have anymore. But it's a good kind of race here. My top selection, I'm going to go to the rail to the 1 horse Gray Magician. I'm going to go 1-4-2-6 in the superfecta. 1-4-2-6 super. Top selection, 1 horse Gray Magician. 3-year-old colt by Grider. Peter Miller trains. Javier Castellano gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 11th of October at Keeneland, a mile 16th and an optional 100 claimer. He won by a neck that day. He stalked, he held on, got the lead, and held on to a very nice victory, earning himself a 94 buyer. It was a very good run. Before then, the Grade 3 Smarty Jones at Parks, mile 16th, September the 2nd. He finished second by head. He sat back early. He had the lead and looked like he was going to get away with it, but Spun to Run, who won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, got to him late. I thought this horse ran a good race behind a Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile winner. And then before then, the Ellis Derby at Ellis Park, 1 mile, August 11th. The horse won by half length. He stalked, he got the lead, and then he took off clear. That was a very good run. And then he placed nicely behind Mr. Money in the Indiana Derby. He was on the Derby Trail last year. You know, he was doing okay in spots and then crap in other spots. But since the Kentucky Derby, I think he's found his form a lot. He's been on the up and up, 4-1 from the rail, facing older horses for the first time. I think he's sitting on a very good run, so let's take him. I don't trust Gift Box at all. I think he's, you know, basically, to put up it lightly, a little bit of a, you know, I think he was doing well this year because he was facing basically nobodies. I think this is the toughest group of horses he's been facing in quite a while. Just look, you know, he couldn't really run in Stephen Foster against, you know, nobodies, and he's not going to really do well against this group, so I'm not going to use Gift Box. If it bites me in the ass, bites me in the ass. But to recap my selection now for the 5th from Santa Anita, it's the Grade 2 San Antonio. Let's take the 1-horse Gray Magician. We'll go 1-4-2-6 in the superfecta. We'll go 1-4 in the multi-race. So now let's get to race number 6. Race number 6 from Santa Anita, it's the American Oaks, Grade 1 purse, $300,000. Race for 3-year-old fillies here. We have a field of 8 horses going to this turf course, a distance of ground of 2,000 meters, or the distance of ground of 1.25 miles on the Santa Anita turf course. 2,000 meters, 1.25 miles turf course. It's probably going to be one of the few hillside races of the meeting at Santa Anita, because basically they're not going to be running sprints down the hillside turf course for the, you know, foreseeable future. But it wouldn't, to tell you the truth, it wouldn't surprise me if you start seeing hillside turf races, turf sprints in, say, March or April. They probably want to give it a few months, make sure the whole course is safe, and then they'll probably bring it back gradually with the better horses, and then start letting the claimers go down the hill. But with that being said, it'll be kind of cool to see the hillside open. But we'll get a sneak preview with this American Oaks. It's Grade 1, but does it deserve to be a Grade 1 this year? Probably not. But with that being said, my top selection, I'm going to go with the number 7 horse, Giza Goddess. Can't speak, pardon me. I'm going to go 7-8-5-2 in the superfecta. 7-8-5-2 super. Top selection, 7 horse, Giza Goddess. 3-0 filly by Cairo Prince. John Sheriff trains. Victor Espinosa gets them out. Who's having an okay season. He's had better, he's had worse. But the Giza Goddess, most recent outing came 8 days ago here at over at Del Mar. 1st of December, 1 mile in the Grade 1 Matriarch. She finished 8th by 8.5 lengths there, and she was drawn in the parking lot. Really never got out. It was wide, and it just wasn't the day to win. At Del Mar, going a mile especially, you need a good trip and you need to be drawn well. It just wasn't to her liking there. Before then, the autumn miss at Santa Anita, 1 mile, October the 26th. She finished second by 1.5 lengths. She was drawn wide that day, but she sat the pace. She got caught in the stretch, but I still thought she ran a good race. She outran her odds there. And then the 30th of December here at Santa Anita, 1 mile in the Blue Northern. She won by a half length. She sat back, she got the lead, then she took off clear. That was a very, very good victory. Coming up to the 1.25 miles shouldn't be a problem. I think she's a very fresh horse, and here she's drawn wide, but you can win from a wide poster, especially starting on the hillside turf course here. Since she's switched over to the turf, she's been doing well. 7-2, let's take her to the multi-race scenario now. The pick 6 begins with this race, 20-cent rainbow variety pick 6. I would definitely use the top selection, of course. Who wouldn't use their top selection? I would use Giza Goddess, and I would also use the 8-horse Vibrance. I think she's another horse. She's run these good races. She hasn't won. She's only won once, and that was quite a while ago, but she's always run these good races. Her numbers have been going up lately. It wouldn't surprise me if she gets a good trip to win here. So we'll go too deep to start off this pick 6, because I think you're going to have to go a little deeper later on the card. But to recap my selection for the 6 from Santa Anita, it's Grade 1 American Oaks. Let's take the 7 horse Giza Goddess. I'm going to go 7-8-5-2 in the superfecta, 7-8 in the multi-race. Let's get to the race number 7 from Santa Anita. It's the Grade 1 Brea Stakes, purse $300,000. Race for 3-year-old fillies here. We have a field of 9 horses going to the main track. The distance of ground of 1,400 meters, if you want to go by that, or the distance of ground of 7 furlongs on the main track. 1,400 meters, 7 furlongs, main track here in the La Brea. The top selection, we'll take a shot with the 9-horse Mother Mother. We'll go 9751 in the superfecta, 9751 super. Top selection 9-horse Mother Mother. This 3-0 followed by Pioneer of the Nile. Bob Baffert trains. Joe Rosario gets them out. The horse hasn't been seen since the 3rd of May at Churchill. 7 furlongs in the Grade 2A Bell Stakes, and she lost all chances at the beginning. She was drawn wide. She hit the gate going out of it, and she finished 6th by 14 lengths. It just wasn't the day to win. Coming back to Santa Anita, to the home base, I think she'll get a good run. Also, her workout patterns have been very good since the race, since she's taken the break. Before that, she ran in the Beaumonts at Keeneland on the slop, about 7 furlongs. April the 7th, she finished 2nd by head, and she sat back early. She was closing up well late. I thought it was a good race. And then she was the bridesmaid to Bellafina quite a few times this season. 4th in the Las Virgenes, where she didn't have she just couldn't keep up around the 2 turns. Then the Santa Ynez, she finished 2nd behind Bellafino. She set the pace, but Bellafina got to her. And then she, not facing Bellafina, she finished 3rd in the Starlet, where I thought she ran a good race, even though she's probably not a 2-turn horse. And then before that, she won the Rag to Riches very nicely and placed behind Bellafina, the Del Mar debutante. She has the form to win it. She can find that 2-year form. I think she could win. She's proven she wants to go 1 turn. She's going to get the 1 turn 7 furlongs. She's been training well. At 6-1, I wouldn't throw her out. I think the 7-horse hard not to love, coming to stakes quality horses for the first time since May. Also has a live chance at 6-1, a very live chance at 6-1. She ran a very good return to the race at Santa Anita a few weeks ago, going 6 furlongs, win by 3/4 of the length. That day she didn't break all that well, but she recovered a little bit wide, but she took off clear. That was a very good run. Her only start against stakes quality horses in Angel probably wasn't the best runs for her, but I think since then she's been an improving type of horse. Her workout patterns have indicated she's improved a lot. At 6-1, a horse I wouldn't keep off the ticket. You also have to use Bellafina. She's a very good horse, but her midsummer campaign was horrible. But she can win on experience. But to recap my selections now for the 7th from Santa Anita, it is the La Brea, the Grade 1 La Brea. Let's take the 9-horse Mother Mother. We'll go 9751 in the superfecta. We'll go use all 4 of those digits in the multi-race. Now let's get to race number 8. Race number 8 from Santa Anita. It's the Robert J. Frankel Stakes, Grade 3, purse $100,000. Race for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 8 horses going to the turf course, distance of ground of 1,800 meters, or the distance of ground of 1/8 on the Santa Anita lawn, the turf course, 1,800 meters, 1/8 here in the Bobby Frankel. It's been 10 years since he passed away, and one of the best trainers of our time, I think. With that being said, he won this race when it was called the San Gorgonio like a million times, it seems. So it was fitting that they named this race after him. With that being said, the top selection here, I'm gonna go with the number 5 horse, Curlin's Journey. I'm gonna go 5714 in the superfecta, 5714 super. Top selection of 5 horse, Curlin's Journey. This 4-year-old filly by Curlin. Dallas Keene trains. Ruben Fuentes gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 30th of November at Del Mar. A mile 3/8 in the red carpet handicap, and the horse finished 2nd by 1/4 lengths. Outran the odds at 17-1. Closed up well late from sitting well behind. Had to steady at the top lane, but he still ran a good race. Nothing bad about that. Before them at Del Mar, 1 mile to Catherine Crosby. The horse finished 4th by neck there, and had the lead for a split portion of the stretch, closing up well, but then he kind of got caught. But at 41, outran his odds there, her odds, and then optional 40 at Santino, 1 mile, time of the 27th. She won by half length. She sat back early. She got the lead, and then she took off clear. Very good run. She's been running these terrific races as of recently. She's going to the mile and 8th, which shouldn't be a problem, and I think she'll get a good trip. She actually broke her maiden at the course in distance, winning here on the 11th of May by 2.5 lengths. That day. She that day, when she ran on the 11th of May, she stalked off of quite a quick pace, and then when she got the lead, she just took off clear. That was a very good victory. Like I said, since then she's been really running well. At 6-1, I'm gonna give her a shot here. If you're gonna play the multi-race, there's another logical horse I think that can win. That's the 7-horse Mirth. So I would go too deep here in the multi-race. But to recap my selection for the 8th from Santino, it's the Grade 3 Robert J. Frankel. Let's take the 5-horse Curlin's Journey. We'll go 5-7-1-4 in the superfecta, 5-7 in the multi-race. Let's get to the featured 9th race from the Race number 9 from Santa Anita. It's the big race of the afternoon. It's the Malibu Stakes Grade 1, purse $300,000. Race for 3-year-olds here. Field of only 5 horses, but it's a quality group of 5 horses, I think, going the distance of ground of 1,400 meters, or the distance of ground of 7 furlongs on the main track. 1,400 meters, 7 furlongs, main track. Top selection, I'm going to take the number 2 horse Complexity. I'm going to go 254 in the superfecta, 254 superfecta. Top selection to 2 horse Complexity. 3-0 Colt by McLean's Music. Chad Brown trains. Javier Castellano gets the mount. The horse is most recent adding. First time facing older horses. First start off a long refreshing 7 furlongs, 20th November, an off 6-2 claimer at Aqueduct. The horse won by 7.5 lengths there, and he was 2-1, just over 2-1, which nobody saw. I know I did, and I made a lot of money with him in that day. But that day he stalked, he got the lead, and then he could have went around another 5 times and still won that easily. An all-around good effort. He is going up the class ladder, but second off the break, I think it'll be a more fresh horse, and I think he's sitting at a very good run. Also, his workout patterns since going down to South Florida have been very nicely, run or trained. Before that, though, they ran the 8th of June at Belmont, a very, unrealistic spot. 7 furlongs in Woody Stevens, off a long refreshing. He finished 11 by 20 1/4 lengths. He was overbet that day. I thought he just really couldn't get into it. His race was done around the half, and then before then, the British Cup Juvenile at Churchill. Mile 16th. He's not a 2-turn horse. Finished 10th by 20 1/4 lengths, and like I said, he just couldn't keep the 2 turns. But before that, won the Champagne very nicely at Belmont, and then broke the main at Saratoga very, very easily. I like him a lot, and I think he'll get a good trip at 5-2. Let's take him. You have to go 2 deep in this race. I think it's a 2-horse race between Complexity and the 5-horse Omaha Beach. So make sure you use both of them. But in the multi race. But to recap my selections now for the 9th from Santa Anita, it's the Grade 1 Malibu. Let's take the 2-horse Complexity. We'll go 254 in the superfecta, 2-5 in the multi race. Let's get to the 10th race now. Race number 10 from Santa Anita. It's the Mathis Brothers Mile, formerly known as the Sir Beaufort. It's a Grade 2 event going for a purse, a $200,000. Race for 3-year-olds here. Field of 11 horses going to the turf course. The distance of ground again of 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Santa Anita lawn, the turf course. 1,600 meters, a mile here in the Sir Beaufort, or the Mathis Brothers Mile. Top selection, I'm going to go with the number 6 horse, Neptune Storm. We'll go 6-2-5-7 in the superfecta. 6-2-5-7 super. Top selection, 6 horse, Neptune Storm. 3-year-old gelding by Stormy Atlantic. Richard Baltus trains. Abel Cedillo gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 29 days ago on the 30th of November at Del Mar, Mile Nathan, the Hollywood Derby, and he finished second by 3/4 length. He set the pace early on. He got caught by Morphors who got to him, but I still thought he ran a good race there. Before then, the Twilight Derby at Santina, Mile 8th, November the 2nd, finished third by 2 lengths. He just couldn't get the good turn of foot, but again, he still ran an okay effort, a great effort, shall we say. And then the Hill Prince at Belmont, Mile 8th, October the 5th, he won by 3/4 length from Y post draw. He stalked, he got the lead, and then he just held on to a very nice victory. This horse has been, a little bit of a, consistent horse since August. First off the break in August in the La Jolla Handicap, finished second at Del Mar, then went on to have a third in the Del Mar Derby. Sent the horse here to New York to run in the Hill Prince, where he won. Went to British Cup Friday in the Twilight Derby, where he finished third. British Cup Saturday, I believe it was, in the third in the Twilight Derby, or the Oak Tree Derby, how they call that race. And then he placed in the Hollywood Derby. So he's been running these good races. His bar numbers have been going up with every single race. At 3-1 today. I think he's sitting on a good race. So let's take him here. And I would also use the 2-horse Originaire. He's another horse. If there's going to be a closer to win, I think it could be him. He's running these terrific races, close but no cigar, and 15-1, use him here. That's as far as deep I'm going to go in this race. I think Mo Forza is going to be a very vulnerable favorite. I think a lot of favorites are on this card. Santa Anita are vulnerable considered to the quite a few cars we had the last few meetings at Santa Anita, which seems to be going towards a lot of favorites. I think today you could beat quite a few favorites, but there are still favorites that can win, mainly the Malibu, like we had the race before. But to recap my selections now for the 10th from Santa Anita, it's the Grade 2 Mathis Brothers Mile. Let's take the 6-horse Neptune Storm. We'll go 6-2 in the multi-race. We'll go 6-2-5-7 in the superfecta. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.